All right, we're back. Boy, this is a bumpy first show.
Like the Wi-Fi just like went out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the next time will be better.
I don't even want to speak too soon, man. Goodness gracious, man.
But okay, so what were we talking about here? Last video we showed was of RDS.
We pretty much making fun of him. Well, making fun of him for kind of suggesting that I guess his move to embarrass congressmen kind of was a little light,
right, and
really wouldn't have the impact that he thinks it would. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's on a delay. Yes, it's showing the intro again for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why.
That's probably the video.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Boy, this is rough. Like, y'all gonna have to bear with us through this live environment.
It's serious technical difficulties.
Yeah. And we're gonna learn. We're gonna improve the quality. And we're gonna be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. So hopefully by Tuesday we
get all that stuff ironed out.
Yeah.
Because the problems don't come until you gotta go
when you're in the environment.
Yeah, that's when all the hiccups happen. The sound goes.
And we did some test runs and they all worked out fine. But then when you hit that button, then some issues start to arise. So whatever. Like I said, we're gonna figure it all out, and hopefully we won't run into as many hiccups in the future. But anyway, RDS. So there's one last clip that I wanted to show, and this is kind of like a compilation of a few different things that he had said throughout the video with Claudia.
Calls this repressive tolerance. Had Hillary Clinton been elected, pedophilia would be legalized today, as well as bestiality. Loretta Lynch had a memorandum on 12 perversions that she was going to legalize. It's a disease, not a crime. Okay? I'm sorry, but this is the end of America. We are at a turning point. So I am on record as saying that I believe a major pedophilia scandal is about to explode. WikiLeaks and others will provide the documentation. I believe we will lose 2 Republican governors in something that is 10 times bigger than the Nebraska Franklin scandal, 10 times bigger than the Boston Spotlight Catholic Church scandal. We will lose 4 to 6 senior Republican senators, and we will lose possibly the sitting vice president, who is an alleged murderous pedophile. Remind people, the FBI was created by a pedophile. Wow. J. Edgar Hoover was a cross-dressing pedophile who accepted small children from the mafia as gifts. McKinney.
Wow.
If I am ever president, the first government agency to be shut down will be the Transportation Security Agency. This is the Federal Reserve. Now, I'm told that the Rothschilds know who I am, and they're looking for an exit strategy. I am told that they realize that this is the Sabbath year. This is the major year in which they could either be pitchforked to death or have a graceful exit strategy.
I'm not sure if you can hear all that. It looks like we had some more technical difficulties.
Yeah,
and it looks like it's with playing the clips, and it looks like the frames start to drop. We're gonna have to get that ironed out. But anyway, he said a lot of stuff.
He said if Hillary would have became president, pedophilia would have been legalized.
It would have been legalized
today. No, not just pedophilia. Bestiality. And Loretta Lynch had Loretta Lynch in there. You see what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to pull all those people that he knows can be pulled in by name dropping those people.
Yeah.
He said Loretta Lynch had 12 perversions that she was going to legalize. And what did he say? The CIA was founded by a pedophile?
Yes.
J. Edgar Hoover?
J. Edgar Hoover was a pedophile who accepted small children as gifts
from the mafia. But are we surprised by this? Because he's the same guy who was peddling the the sex, or not just sex slave, but slaves to Mars.
See, so we didn't say that yet, though.
Ah, dang it! But I'm not supposed to say that yet.
No, yeah, we didn't say that yet. So look. This guy, you remember the joke I kind of uttered at the beginning about where I was on Mars in a child sex slave colony. Well, this same guy, RDS, Robert David Steele, peddled that on the Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Oh, Alex Jones. Someone else who has had communication with Donald Trump.
Yes. So he said that there is a secret colony on Mars of children who have been kidnapped and forced to work as sex slaves on Mars. This is RDS. This is who Cynthia McKinney is aligning herself with. And you have to ask yourself, why would she do that?
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't, it doesn't matter what she did. It doesn't mean you could, put ideas out there that are bad. I'm taking the idea for what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand people. And people are just essentially trying to shame you with this whole, well, Cynthia McKinney was this and that, and she's a real leader, and she was on the Green Party, she ran for president, she was the first one. I'm like, well, what about this idea?
What about this?
What about this idea? And, of course, they don't want to talk about Steele, and they keep using her, as a cover not to talk about. Say, well, we trust McKinney. I don't know about him, but we trust McKinney. I was like, it doesn't work like that. Trust doesn't work like that. It's not like there's no such thing as political algebra. It's not like, well, I trust person B and I don't trust person A. But person B trusts person A, so therefore I trust person A. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
Well, see, look, this is why it's a concern. Well, there's a bunch of reasons why it's a concern, but they are raising money, all right? He has said that they have raised, I think, about $100,000.
And he says
he solicited that from progressives, too. They have a bus that they plan on touring across the country. It has the face of Cynthia McKinney and Robert David Steele on it. So, it's... Look, progressives are fighting for this, and it's because Cynthia McKinney is there.
And that's it. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
Have they examined it? I honestly don't think so. And actually, that's kind of doing them a favor. If I'm saying I don't think they have examined this fully, I'm actually giving them the benefit. I'm doing them a favor and giving them
ignorant.
Well, ignorant.
It doesn't have to be a negative connotation.
Yeah, just say, maybe
they don't know what's going on. You don't know the facts.
Exactly, because I'm actually giving them not necessarily out, but I'm not demonizing them. Right. So I'll just say, yeah, maybe they don't know, but if they do know.
But see, that's one thing that when we were going through last year, Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign, right?
Right.
It seemed like people that were backing Bernie Sanders were making informed decisions. Looked like they were taking the facts as presented to them and coming out that, well, you know what? There's no way Bernie Sanders is not the best candidate. Hillary Clinton, she's as corrupt as can be. There's no way I can vote for her. And the whole year we were talking about critical issues and how they differed on these issues. The whole year we talked about this, right? So that got us thinking, man, damn, man, we like this, that we're talking with similar thinking people who are able to grasp an idea, understand it, and make an informed decision. But here we are, and it seems like some of these same people are not making informed decisions.
No, it seems like these people are just literally covering their eyes.
They're just saying, well, look, Cynthia McKinney is over here and, she's with it. So, I'm gonna latch on. I'm gonna give him some money. On that fight. Yeah, it's like.
Oh, and he needs it quick too. I forgot the number he mentioned, but it was he says, and that was most of those videos that we showed were no more than a few weeks old, and he was like, we can do this in 60 days.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah,
he said we can do.
Well, because their goal is to, when Congress gets back from the break, he wants the congressman that signed this integrity pledge. He wants them to present it in the House.
I could be wrong, but he said
whatever.
He said he can this whole process he wants to be actualized in 60 days. But I think he said he needed $150,000 in the next 30 days.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I could be, but I know he said something in the next 30. It was some figure. It was a high figure. It was some figure like that in the next 30 days.
This is a problem.
And I think we haven't, again, we don't even have enough time to deal with all this stuff.
Nah.
We don't. But like, I think it's important that we deal with kind of, let's say, what the ultimate outcome for him, or what he wants the ultimate outcome for him to be. And I think that is important. And that kind of should, throw up some red flags for you.
He's a narcissist.
No,
And
not
that was readily apparent.
It was readily apparent because
throughout all of the interview with Claudia, because he said a lot of different things about, because he went through all his credentials, man. Because there was one time, I think it was about 40 minutes in, where Claudia was like, okay, well, thank you for coming on, and he still wanted to talk. It went about 25, 30 more minutes, something like that, and it was a lot of it was filled with him touting himself, saying, "Oh, I've done this," and it's just.
Not see again. The end game for him, according to his own words,
What does he want?
He wants a position in the Trump administration for, like, what is it called, open source.
Yeah.
Open source security or something. What's it called? Open source information.
Yeah.
To where like he basically said, I can deliver the truth to America. Now, he acknowledged that Trump is not that smart. And so he wanted to streamline information gathering for Trump. He says, he doesn't need all these advisors. What he needs is like some, like, he didn't say this, but the way I took it was, Trump needs a high-tech Etch-a-Sketch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He doesn't like to read.
He doesn't like to read. He
wants it easier for him.
He needs some sort of electronic device that condenses all this information that he would get from all these advisors into one, like, electronic device for him. And guess who would be in control of that device? Guess who would be in control of that device? Mr. Steele.
Yeah.
And he said out of his own mouth, he said, I will deliver the truth to America.
He is a narcissist in every way possible. First of all,
you know how many times he said in that one video that was an hour long, he said, if I were president, I was president.
And one of those times we just saw, I don't know if anybody saw it because of the video breaking down or whatever, but he talked about the TSA. Like, he's talking about, man, if I was president, the first government agency that I would just break down and just do away with is the TSA. Now, the idea is so asinine. Like, okay, so you killed the TSA.
He got mad. He got his balls felt up one time.
Yeah, he got his balls felt up, and he feels like it's such an ordeal to go through it. So.
Just get rid of it. But
come on, that's not pragmatic.
If he would have said get rid of it and then followed that up with like some sort of alternative, I've been okay. But he didn't do that.
Even if you said, okay, there's a lot of bad experiences with the TSA. I've been privy to them as well. I've had some bad experiences. Okay, so if you say, well, look, I have some policy ideas that I think
will help rectify some of the
issues, and we can kind of streamline this process better, make it better for passengers. It's still as safe, blah blah blah. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's hear what you got. Anybody would be like, okay, let's hear it. But he wants to just do away with come on, man, you can't take this guy seriously.
This one, I think, when I looked it up, I looked it up and there's like 1.73 million domestic flights every day, and I'm like, if it was that huge of a problem, there need to be that much reform with that many millions and millions of people like riding every day, every year. You would probably see a lot more uproar. Because I've been to the airport. I've flown two handfuls of times, and I haven't personally witnessed or experienced anything egregious.
Last time I flew, coming back here, I was late. I was late getting to the airport, and they had to check my bag. I think I had a bottle of hand sanitizer in it, right? And for some reason, alerted them. They put it to the side. I had to wait about 5-10 minutes. Now, I was a little frantic because I was like, man, dang, I got to catch my plane. I don't want to miss my plane. So that's why, but that was my fault. I showed up late, right? That's not for me, it wasn't a horrible scenario. I know there's worse ones, but to say that you want to kill the TSA, do away with the government agency totally, is ridiculous.
Wait. Remember
Preposterous.
what he said.
Absurd.
He says, I am told the Rothschilds know who I
That's
am.
another one. Yeah. He said,
I am told.
Yep.
I am told they're looking for a clean exit strategy. And you know who can bring them? You know who can bring that exit strategy to fruition? Mr. Steele. Him.
And see, and why does he bring up the Rothschilds? Because the Rothschilds run the world, right?
Right.
They're
No, see,
they run the country, they run the
he
world,
is
right?
told. I'm like, see, again, if that's not a red flag for you, I don't know what's going to be a red flag. Because when somebody says, I am told, I'm like, what? By
You
who?
know what? I saw another interview with him where he said that somebody told him, he wouldn't name who, but I guess somebody of some kind of relevance said that they said they saw Reince Priebus and Paul Ryan being intimate. I'm not even lying. I promise, man. If I find it, I just saw a video earlier today. This is what he says. He comes out the mouth with all this shit.
Again, all right. See, now we've been getting somewhere, but like this, like wrapping all this up, like what does this say? Like, you know,
it says that this is not a person that anybody
should get behind,
especially a progressive.
No.
Like if you supported Cynthia McKinney in the past,
great.
Okay, fine. This is not an avenue. This is not an environment you want to partake in because it's worthless. Okay, it's rooted in hate and it's fake. Well, actually, no. It's not fake. It's not fake. It's real in the sense that he wants to do for Donald Trump. He wants to make sure that Donald Trump is president in 2020. Like I said earlier,
because
his approval ratings are dropping, and by 2020, they're starting 6 months into Donald Trump's first presidency, right? His first term. So they're trying to circle the wagons and use Cynthia McKinney as a prop to say, "Hey, black people, come on, let's go. You know, we're gonna go after all that Israel money. We're gonna give it to you."
And you know, and if you notice anything about his commentary, he doesn't fault Trump for anything. He doesn't blame Trump. It's everyone around him.
Right.
And he says, and he says, you know, he's being manipulated by the deep state and by all these unseen hands.
Deep state.
He's being manipulated by them, and he's not making these decisions. He just has to, and they're forcing him to. And it's the people around him and not him. Now,
I think he said there was 54 Jews. 9 members, 9 people associated with Goldman Sachs, and one other person that run America's economy. This is what he said.
Well,
54 Jews.
It's all the Jews. It's all the Jews.
Come on, man. We know what his mentality
I think that's getting old,
when
man.
I think you couple that with him talking about Holocaust myths. You know exactly you know his mind frame. You know he's anti-Semitic. You have to question why he's with Cynthia McKinney. It's a really good possibility that Cynthia McKinney is anti-Semitic. It's a very good possibility. She would have to know the things that are coming out of his mouth, right? She would have to know that she's going to have to answer for this stuff, right? Because she's a co-founder in this. It's not like she's like a loose participant. It was I agree with
what
the
else?
integrity pledge.
What position does he want Cynthia McKinney to have? My bad. I just dropped that on you. You wouldn't expect me to ask that.
So he thinks in 2020, Donald Trump's VP should be Cynthia McKinney. Oh,
and see, okay, and at first I asked you like earlier today, and I was like, dude, how is that going to happen? And you know what it hit me? And I was like, oh, I remember all those Republicans, including Pence, is going to get outed.
Yeah, because of the
pedophilia thing. Yeah, so that's going to open up a spot.
Yeah, it's going to open. Oh, so it might happen before 2020 because he's predicting this in the next. It sounded like soon. It sounded like soon. He said some governors are going to be gone. Mike Pence,
like almost the entire Republican Party.
The Republican Party is going to explode.
So they want to become the new establishment, do they?
It sounds like they're just mad that it sounds like he's just mad that he's not in it.
In it.
Yeah. I do wonder because this is, among alt-right circles, I'm sure he's well known. Sounds like now around, people that are progressive, they know too because of Cynthia McKinney. I wonder how familiar the establishment Republicans are with RDS. Yeah, I wonder how familiar Trump is with them. I wonder if it's registering on their radar.
I don't know. It could, because there's so many roads to Trump, that I guess still could travel. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have David Duke and you have Alex Jones. Those are all roads to Donald Trump. But I don't know. I don't know how much on the radar they are, though. I really don't know. I mean, what if this unrigged thing doesn't take off, which I hope it doesn't.
What if? This ain't going nowhere. Come on.
I mean,
this ain't going nowhere.
No, I personally don't think it's going anywhere, and we're going to try to see that it doesn't.
They're talking about by October 1st. By October 1st, they want these Congress members' names on this integrity pledge, and if they're not on this integrity pledge, guess what happens? The billboard.
And the visual and the singing the Israeli national anthem.
Yes,
that's gonna get them.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what's gonna get them.
Now, are we really to suppose that this thing is so widespread that there are actually 12 activists per congressional district that is signing on to this, co-signing this,
and they're not going to get paid? Remember, he said
the activists gonna have to.
Yeah, the activists are going to have to pay for it.
Yeah. So, are we to believe that actually there are really that many people roaming the country talking about, unrig is what's up. Unrig is what's up. That's what we need to do right there. We need to hate on the Jewish people. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Get that money.
Get that money.
Get that money. Put it in the black communities and the poor white communities too.
Yep. And then couple with that, get some election reform, maybe, because it doesn't go far enough. It doesn't. It doesn't even address campaign finance. So what good is having? What good is having a fair election? It can't be a fair election if you don't address the money.
And not only that, but see, that's the thing. Like, he thinks Donald Trump was legitimately elected, but at the same time, he said the system is corrupt and we don't have legitimate elections. So
wait, but Donald Trump is legitimate elected.
And he said this.
It was a miracle.
My bad. That's why it was a miracle.
How did that happen, though?
Because it was a rigged system and Donald Trump overcame it. Not Donald Trump exploited it. He overcame it, which was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Look, man, this is some bullshit, and people need to stay away from this. Like we said, I don't care what affinity you have for Cynthia McKinney.
I don't care what affinity you have for Cynthia McKinney. No. I don't care what affinity you have for Caitlin Johnstone.
No,
I don't care what affinity you have for Tim Black. Yeah. I don't care what affinity you have for H.A. Goodman.
Yeah.
This is a separate issue. Like
same progressive,
Debbie, Lusignan. I don't care. Like, we can respect each of those people separately for what they do. Like, if they are co-signing on something, simply because I like some of the stuff all of them do doesn't mean we have to co-sign.
Off of
simply, we don't have to co-sign on it.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. No, it's not gonna happen.
No, I just
what we need is more people actually informing themselves.
Yeah.
And not just riding the bandwagon.
Informing themselves and not giving people this unconditional allegiance and unconditional support.
Check it. I don't want a blank check. Anything that I say that needs to be criticized, please do so. Send me a message. Write me an email. Whatever.
Yeah, but
if I say some bullshit, I don't want a blank check.
Yeah, because who we are, I guess, will elicit two different responses, because we are supposed to be independent, right? Mm-hmm. So what people like about us might be the same thing that they hate, because our independence, and how we, I guess, dissect things may come in conflict with what they think, and that's cool. Like, I don't want to be in a circle where everybody agrees on everything. You have so many, people who offer social commentary that are kind of like, I guess, in league or in line with us and kind of our views and our worldview, our platform, like a bunch. I'll just throw a number out there, 50, in the 50s or in the hundreds. And this progressive kind of community is not one big blob. You have like a Venn diagram where there's some crossover. Like you have crossover appeal, you know, like amongst a swath of people, and some of these people, you know, they take from each person what they can, and they develop like their own worldview, and that's fine. And each person that offers social commentary does it in their own way, and we don't have to agree on everything. And it's
we shouldn't expect it.
And like I said, there's going to be no growth if we agree on everything, but there's also going to be no growth if we just disown each other for disagreeing. And like, it's not really even a disagreement really on an issue. It's disagreeing with someone they like. That, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't agree with everything that comes out of Tim Black's mouth. I don't agree with everything that comes out of H.A. Goodman's mouth. I don't agree with everything that comes out of Debbie Lusignan's mouth or Nico House, but you know I still watch them.
Ben Dixon, yeah.
I was like,
I agree with everything.
I don't agree with everything, but I regard them for who they are and what they deliver when they are right. Now, when they are wrong, I'm like, nah, I can't really get with that. But I'm not going to let that be an eraser. I'm not gonna let
people have the same idea about us too.
Yeah.
Like you remember during last year, after Bernie Sanders bowed out, we were like, well, we're gonna take a look at Jill Stein.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't agree with that.
No.
We got messages.
We got a lot of messages.
Yeah.
And like,
some people were like, you know what? Just like you were talking about, we didn't get a lot of this, but some people actually sent us messages saying, look, you know, I've been watching y'all for a while, but you know, you're supporting Jill Stein. Can't watch you no more. Like, hold on. I don't think we only talk about Jill Stein. Right?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, we didn't just talk about Jill
Stein. Again.
I'm telling you,
like I said before, that people are taking the behaviors they exhibited when they were kind of tuned in and tied into the mainstream, and just like I guess traveling that behavior to this new space they call progressivism, and they're making wedge issues. They're making wedge issues out of things that don't need to be.
And they're claiming what progressivism is now.
And I think, and
like,
it's not just that
on this side, then you know.
Well, it's like, I think
don't listen to him over there.
There's some people that have
ostracize yourself from over.
Yeah, there's some people that have somehow become the mantle for what it is to be progressive, or like the human litmus test for what is defined as a radical or what is described as progressive. And we can't do that, because what happens, it's like the Jesusification of these people. Like, if you disagree with this person, then you kicked out the club. I'm like, wow. Like, if I behave that way, then all those people that I mentioned that I do watch will be kicked out of the club, or my little club, because I disagree with them on somebody or something, or I disagree with somebody that they associated with. If I was like that, then that's what would happen.
You would be by yourself.
I'll be by my damn self.
But you would have your own followers that, you know, I guess hang on to what you're talking about. And look, like I said at the beginning, too many leaders are popping up all over the place. All right, I never heard of this RDS guy before. I never heard of him before. But here he is trying to take some of that steam that's within the progressive movement and saying, okay, join me. I promise. I got your back. I promise. Let's just go after the Jews, and then we'll get to you. You know, he wants to put aside all of our differences. He talks about putting aside all our feelings on gay marriage, or I can't even remember all the things. He looks at like two or three different things, but he wants to put those issues aside until we achieve this right here. We can come together on this, the alt-right and whatever the hell the alt-left is. Let's come together and get this. Let's come together.
Sorry, I feel like
this election reform act passed, and then we'll come to the table. And I promise you that I'll be fair. We'll meet you halfway.
Like, logically, that doesn't make sense, because like, how do people prioritize and work out their problems in their life, their everyday life? They don't pick the issue that should be the top priority and just work on that and everything else goes away. That doesn't even happen in people's individual lives. So how do you try to implement that on a grander scale where you say, okay, this is the most important issue in my life and I'm going to deal with this, and until I deal with this, all this other stuff I'm going to ignore? That doesn't even make any sense.
But think about how flimsy it is anyways. Even if you wanted to think that, hey, okay, our politicians are bought by Israel, okay? Even if you wanted to think that. Okay? We'll give you that. Okay, all right. Politicians bought by Israel. Then you take it and say, okay, we want election integrity, right? We want fair elections. So let's push forward this election and this election reform act, right? As I said before, it does not address money in politics. So the Israel connection is going to be gone, but what about the connection to Wall Street? What about the connection to big oil? What about the connection to pharmaceuticals? What about the connection to the military industrial complex? I mean, like, there's a bunch of different connections. There's a bunch of different corporations and billionaires that are wreaking havoc on our system, on our way of life, because they're the ones that have the ears of these politicians. But from what I see, Robert David Steele, he doesn't want to do away with that connection. All he wants is to affect Israel. And you gotta ask yourself why.
And to try to like get people to come together on a common enemy, to me, is flawed. Because to me, this is me personally, the enemy of my enemy is still my damn enemy. And you know what's so funny? Isn't that what all these progressives and all these alt whoever people were claiming to try to get away from, is to the lesser of two evils? That's kind of similar. If you want me to align, you see what I'm saying? If you want me to align with an enemy because of another enemy, all you're saying is, well, we're the lesser of two evils. Right. That's what you're saying to me. Right. And you can't align. Bigger evil. You can't you align with people according to a worldview. Mm-hmm. That's how you align with people. That's how you build bridges with people. You know, if like you can't like say, okay, we want to tear down this house. Okay, well, what house can we build together? If there's no house we can build together, then what's the point of tearing down this house that we have a supposedly a similar interest in tearing down? What house are we going to build? That's what I want to know. That's where, to me, an alliance means more. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we going to build together? Not what are we going to supposedly destroy together. You can't base a relationship off of that.
Well, and then you have to think about what their true objectives are too. You know, they're not gonna match our own. They have no interest in our interest. So why would we come together for a common cause when it's really not all that common? On the surface, it may be common, but the background, the substance, ain't common whatsoever. Oh yes. So we're going to end up in two different places.
Yeah, because the root behind the disdain for the establishment, or you know what,
can be different.
And not only that, what they view as the establishment may be just slightly tweaked or different. You like on the surface it may look the same, but like even the roots behind the disdain for the establishment are different. And what some of these people think is the establishment, because like I said, they're carrying all that same binary thinking that they come from into this space, like this need to always have a good and an evil. That's it. Or or a protagonist and antagonist, a hero and a villain. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you think about it when people talk about the deep state, right? And they think
this mythical deep state.
Well, I mean, but what do people define as the deep state? Corporate interests. Individuals with corporate interest, and
some people define it as like a handful of people that are running the world or the country.
Yeah, big banks.
Yeah.
Perpetual warfare, destabilizing. But my point is like as soon as Trump sees some sort of pushback from somewhere, that's the first place people normally go, because they have to find some sort of like demon. And so what happens is they just throw out the first thing that comes to mind. That's the deep state. But I'll just put this out there. Like, let's just say the deep state, as you say it, is going after Trump. I'll just say I'm gonna come where they are, because I think that's what you have to do. You have to take a position somebody has and not necessarily pull them out of it. You have to come where they are and kind of rationalize through it.
Blow it up, you mean?
No, seriously. No, seriously. If somebody makes a claim, the first thing you do is, because first of all, they got themselves there. They only could get themselves out. You can't get them out.
Well, you want to be in their bubble and try to, I guess, get some common sense.
Well, the thing is, you get them to explain in detail, you know, like how this thing is actualizing, either behind the scenes. Like, you get them to talk about it. Like, if you're going to say the deep state is going after Trump, because that's what a lot of people thought when they heard the whole, 17 intelligence agencies said that they hacked Russia. So as soon as people got wind of that, it was like, oh, the deep state is after Trump. And I said, guess what? What if they are? What if they are after Trump? So what? Why can't there be more than one villain? Why can't they be a villain and Trump be a villain? That's all I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Why does there only have to be one villain? Why do we think that, like, all pirates sail in the same pirate ship?
I mean, well, it's the easier way of thinking, that if you can put your finger on this particular human being or this particular group of human beings, then that's all your focus is going to allow. I mean, you don't want to hear
it does make it a little simpler.
Yeah, it does.
But it actually makes people more vulnerable to be manipulated.
Of course. But we know that, I mean, not all people are critical thinkers. When you were talking about how, you know, I guess the motivation, like we were talking about, like the face of a common goal could be the same, but the substance behind it is different, right? Mm-hmm. So RDS was explaining what he wants to get done, like I said, about going after AIPAC and this and that. But he also talked about militarily, he wanted to close bases or throughout the world, and, you know, stop spending money. He specifically pointed out on Israel and Saudi Arabia, but he wants to pull back. He wants to pull back from all this military spending. Now that sounds a lot like something that we would say. That sounds like a very progressive point of view. I remember Bernie Sanders saying something to that effect. I remember Jill Stein going even farther. But see, the reasons behind that are not the same between us and a guy like RDS. The alt-right, white nationalist David Duke, the isolationist. You see that in Trump. He wants to cut off immigration into the United States. Right? They want to be alone. This is just like the Brexit vote.
Specifically, white isolationists.
Yes, I know. So that they are isolationists. They don't want to deal with brown countries and stuff like that.
Like one of the self-ascribed leader of the alt-right, the dude Richard Spencer. Sorry, my bad. He's a white identitarian. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
basically,
behind
again,
it is very different. Why would we sign on to something like that when our true interest is like, well, look, we want to do what's good for the world. We're tired of all these innocent people being blown to bits by drone strikes in markets and hospitals, communities. We're tired of that. So we don't want to see all this war and conflict. We don't want regions to be destabilized like that's been going on for decades.
And that's
our motivation.
And what's
the hell would we join forces with somebody that on the surface wants the same thing, but their true objective is completely different?
Basically, you're saying, like, what's the end game? What should be defined as unity is what objectives can we meet on after this, right.
Because you can't just look at this. You got to look into the future too. What's the next step? And you got to plan for the future. Think about in life. That's why you're saying you don't just pay attention to one thing in life. Oh, this is the most important. No, there's a lot of different things in life that you got to address.
And you know,
have an eye on that.
And I really haven't heard any how are you going to resolve these things after we pull out of all these places? It's not like
we just trust them.
See, no, it's like this. Like, if we want to be taken seriously, if progressives want to be taken seriously, we cannot be so dogmatic about military action because just pulling out of everywhere is not going to solve anything. It's not like we can jump in a time machine and everything is going to go away. Like the dominoes have already fallen, and they're not going to stop falling simply because we just walk away. The dominoes are going to continue to fall. And like, what is the reparations? Like how are we going to repair all of what we have destroyed? I just haven't heard, them articulate that. It's just pull out, just get rid of all this stuff. I'm like, that's just not how it works. You know what? That's why I think the isolationist thing comes because they want to like insulate themselves from the consequences and the backlash from all that. Right. You see what I'm saying? It's that they're trying to protect themselves or insulate themselves from all this shit, which is irresponsible, and you're not taking responsibility for the stuff that you say we're doing wrong. That's not taking responsibility. That's a little bit more difficult to try to come up with strategies to kind of iron all that stuff out. It's a little more difficult. And again, all I'm saying is, like, have you ever thought something in your head and you had all these ideas and you had all these thoughts and you thought they were together, and maybe you stood in front of the mirror or you talked them out and you're like, oh shit, that didn't acted as the agent, like, you know what I'm saying, the first agent. Was it? It's not. Okay, yeah, she acted as the first agent. That was a good opportunity for her. That served as an opportunity. That a Noah situation, because there's a lot of groups that they're connected to. That could have been, a wonderful opportunity for something to bloom. It could have been, but she fucked it up. And the reason why she fucked it up was because she hadn't ironed all those details out yet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look, I mean, why? Do you know how many people did not vote in 2016? I mean, it was
like 100 million.
Yeah,
like 100 million. Not even 100 million. I can't remember.
Shouldn't we be going after them? Like, if we want to launch a campaign to defeat the deep state, or to get election integrity,
defeat the establishment, the deep state, and all
whatever, get money out of politics. Like, my first step, I don't want to talk to the alt-right. Like, I don't want to talk to them. Like, I want to talk to the people that are so disillusioned with our system of government that they completely withdraw. Like, we have to get people motivated to actually take a stance and, like, help in the fight to actually reach some kind of true change, some progress, to kind of circumvent that process, like to just go automatically to the alt-right is,
like, why would I, like,
counterproductive?
Why would I go further to the right than, like, the people that we kind of, I guess, decided to get away from, which is the centrist Democrats. Yeah. Like, they're essentially centrist or very righty. So why would we go further to the right than them? Simply because they hate them too. Yeah, no.
There's on the surface there could be a common enemy, but it's very different once you get into
but again, what is the lowest common denominator though? Like, the people that are supposed to be the leaders in this, the people that are supposed to represent those that are, I guess, the people that are trying to make these ties to certain people. That's the lowest common denominator right there. And when you have people not showing the ability, I guess, to form alliances in their own little interactions, then how in the world are how are they gonna form alliances with larger groups? That's why I said Caitlyn fucked up. She fucked up. She showed a character flaw that in her own personal interaction, she couldn't even form an alliance in a personal interaction. So how the hell is she gonna get all these different groups of people to form an alliance, and she can't even do that with this one person? And I'm not necessarily focusing on that trait. Everybody around her had that trait surrounding this issue. Everybody around her and everybody who took a position, damn, I spit, like, in this situation did that. And they just essentially created more of a gap because they could not handle their personal interactions with people. And
now pretty much there's a conflict now.
And there's a conflict. And some of these people are coming on here preaching as if they represent the tie that binds, or progressives should look at themselves. I'm like, see, it's easy to like be like third person. It's easy to like take a vantage point and be an observer of something and kind of filter everything out, decipher everything. Oh, these people can go over here. I can do this. Like the logistics behind it are a lot easier when you're looking outside of yourself. But like when you're trying to like get outside of yourself to look at yourself, that's hard as hell. That's hard as hell, and that's hard to do. So like it's easy for us to me to get up here and preach. But it's harder for me to get inside and preach. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got all these political socialites in the progressive movement that are essentially not even like practicing what they say everybody else should practice as far as like being more accepting and hearing different views. They are completely shutting themselves off, and they're doing it by trying to demonize those that disagree with them and the people that they like. And that
look, it's true. We're all part of the human race, right? It's true. But people are very different. And people are very stuck in their own ideology and their own ways. I heard, a narrative like, we can't shut ourselves off. We can't play that other game, right? And I believe Debbie Sigmund said that. Mm-hmm. And that's, it's true to a degree. Like, I'm gonna fully shut myself off from the KKK. Like lock, stock, and barrel.
But why'd you mention the KKK though?
Well, because she had made the point that Cynthia McKinney, when she was running for Congress, I don't know which time, but she had appealed to the KKK, and she had got some votes. I don't know how many votes. Maybe it was a lot of votes. Maybe it was some votes. I don't know. But for me, that's just an entirely different scenario, because as somebody that's running for Congress or for an office, you have to appeal to different people. Like, I don't think we should have the mind frame that we can't try to change some minds, change some hearts, because sometimes it does happen. Absolutely, sometimes it happens. Mm-hmm. Some people will actually listen and take some kind of different perspective and like, man, I really didn't think about that. You know what? I'm going to adjust my way of thinking, my way of behaving. So yeah, I don't fault McKinney for trying to get that vote, especially when she's trying to get into office. The goal is to win. So she's going to talk to anybody that she can to try to get those votes. But when we're talking about within a movement, people like us, people that are not campaigning for an office or something like that, to say that we can't play the other game, I don't think that. Because it's and you know what, that kind of to me, that kind of is very short-sighted on her part, because the other is not a game. That's not a game that anybody, like when you say game, that's kind of like disrespectful, because you're making it sound like these me or anyone else is responsible for this game. Like, no, this game was set up for us. We're responding to the game that was played on us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? People were responding to the game. If someone uses your identity or anybody's identity as a means to disenfranchise them, you approach it and you address it based on that. You approach it based on how they approached it. You combat it. You respond to it based on how they approach it. So this is not some game. Like, if people are othered by this, essentially this system, then that's not their fault, and they're responding to that. And that's kind of interesting, because it's only othered in regards to like this small set of identities that people are kind of uncomfortable about talking about. Because isn't like your economic situation and how you define that, isn't that an identity too? Isn't that, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that an othering? Like when we are attempting to fight for economic equality, aren't you othering yourself? That's an othering, because you're separating yourself from those that seek to disenfranchise people. That is an othering. You see what I'm saying? That by definition, that's an othering. Everything we talk about is an othering. I guess the claim is that when we have a common goal in mind, we can't be bothered with playing that.
But you can't multitask? We can multitask. Who said we can't multitask?
And like I said,
Ask a parent. Well, ask you. You parent.
We should be trying to get the attention of. That's what I think. The only time I'm going to partner with the alt-right, because I've seen these kind of scenarios thrown out there, like these happenstance, these just these spur of the moment type things, where like, what if a building was on fire? What if you had to pull somebody out the car? Well, okay.
That's an emergency.
Hey, if David Duke is sitting right there and we the only two dudes right there, okay. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go pull somebody out the car together. We're going to align and do that together. But that's spur of the moment, right?
What? I didn't hear you though. I tuned out when you said we were gonna pull him out the car. I don't know what this dude's up.
No. I'm talking about if David Duke is sitting right beside me. We're the only two. Me and David Duke is on the street. Somebody in a burning car. Yeah, I'll help David Duke take that person out the car. I will help. Straight up, of course. But when it's more of a thought process, when it's more difficult, you know, like when it takes more of a mental strain, like some thought process to go and think about, okay, what's this going to mean? What are his true objectives? Do they align with mine? Then you have enough time and you can put forth that analysis to say, this is not a man that I'm going to be working with. No.
Well, like, yeah, and you know what? You just reminded me of. You reminded me of that debate that Benjamin Dixon had with H.A. Goodman,
right?
And he was kind of throwing out
that past Sunday.
That was just that past Sunday, I think. Right. And he was H.A. was kind of throwing out those same little really ridiculous hypothetical scenarios. He was like, so if Bill O'Reilly said he didn't like Black Lives Matter, but he wanted to fight police profiling of black people, would you support that? And I was like, wait a second. I was like, profiling is something that Black Lives Matter wants to deal with, so he would. So it doesn't make sense. And number one, like, that's like he's trying to explain something about somebody if they had doublethink. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
that scenario.
It's like not only that, it's doublethink. Like, usually people who have a certain attitude or mindset, it's going to filter out to most of the things and the major issues in their life. So there's not going to be a conflict like that.
We kind of addressed that earlier with Cernovich, though. You remember that tweet that he put out talking about he wouldn't align with Black Lives Matter because they're terrorists and they're like ISIS, but it's okay to align with them on elections.
No,
election integrity.
See, again. That it's like so.
Yeah.
If the Democrats presented a bill, should I align with them? It's a good bill. It's good legislation. But they're the Democrats. They're the establishment. We have opposing views. Would it be okay? Would it be okay to form an alliance with them and be with them on that one issue? Would it be okay?
Because there are some people that
would it be okay?
hate everything Democrat.
Would it be okay? Because it's okay to link up with the right, even though you're diametrically opposed, like on 99 issues, but that one issue you should link up on that one thing. So would it be okay to link up with the Democrats and the establishment, or the Republicans and their establishment?
Right. I think both are. My take is this. Look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't partner with people that don't think exactly like us. That's not at all what we're saying. I could partner with somebody that is on the right, potentially. It really just depends.
It depends on their motive.
It depends
and their
on
intent.
their motives.
And
it depends on their soul. If they demonize Black Lives Matter and say that they're just like ISIS, well, I know something about you now. That tells something about you.
You know what? It's like I can't trust your decision making.
Right.
I can't trust the pathways you take to get to your conclusions. I can't do it.
Right. Let's say I mean, because there's many people that differ on the subject of abortion, right? There's many people that differ on the subject of military spending. I mean, anything, right?
There's many people who go ahead. No, go ahead.
What
Fish. I don't want to start another subject, boy. I was about to blow it up, dog.
But what if that same said person was like, well, you know what? What is important here in America is that every man, woman, and child have health coverage. I mean, I'm cool with them. I mean, like on that subject, I think I'm cool with them. Now, I mean, and again, like we were saying, it depends on who they are. Like if they're a nasty person, no, I'm not messing with them. But if we're just disagreeing on issues and that's it, I don't have the, I guess, inclination that you are just a hateful, mean-spirited person, then yeah, we can do that. We can do that all day. Yeah, we can get together and do something good. No doubt.
But, like, don't expect me to, like, align myself with the KKK.
Yeah,
Damn. How long be off stream?
I have no idea.
See. I guess Teresa didn't come in and say, you know, we off.
Anyway. Well, we're going to have to stop this and then come back and just... Oh, we're back.
But dang, man, that's crazy, man. How's it drop like that
and
then come back?
Yeah.
I wonder how much they caught.
I think it just dropped.
Okay,
I'm
all
pretty sure
right.
it just dropped. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
We've been going on a long time.
We had to deal with this. Like we
been talking about this for a while.
See, that's the thing. We weren't planning on like talking about this whole thing, but it had to be dealt with. Yeah. Like we were gonna come on and kind of deal with, you know, a multitude of issues, but this stuff just dropped in our lap, and we've been being bombarded.
You know, like I said, I think it was an important issue to get to right off the bat because it is preventing progress. It's preventing us from talking about key issues that actually can get us somewhere.
You want me to drop the bomb, man? Do you want me to drop the bomb?
What you want to drop, man?
Sure.
Go ahead, man.
Seth Rich, man.
No, we'll talk about it.
See? No, I'm just saying like that. I'm just pointing out that's an issue.
Yeah, that's
an issue that causes a little bit of conflict
Yeah.
and the a lack of movement.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, you know, it's still an issue right now. A lot of people talking about it and conflict.
It's become a wedge issue.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. Okay, you know what? All right.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah.
All right. Just for a minute. Just for a minute. Look, there. You know, people believe that Seth Rich was, in effect, killed by the DNC. Okay, that's a position that a lot of people are taking. DNC was directly responsible for Seth Rich's murder. Okay. Now, there are a lot of people that don't believe that, or there are a lot of people that say, I don't know. There's circumstantial at best evidence, you know. I mean, really the evidence is that he worked for the DNC. He worked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz or whatever, and after the emails came out, soon after he got killed. So look, the people that are on the side of saying that the DNC definitely did murder him. Like you said, they're using, you know, it's like
they're using it as a wedge issue to determine who is like, are you
don't believe
then
this,
you're not progressive enough. When it has actually, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't have, and it doesn't have any direct consequence to actual like progressive policies.
It doesn't, because whether or not it is true, it doesn't help the fight. You know, it really doesn't help our circumstances not one bit, because there's not going to be a smoking gun. It's always going to be up in the air. You're never going to find out.
You know, I know you're never going to find it. There's not going to be individuals individuals that, you know, are significant,
right?
Have any kind of power that's going to seek any kind of resolution. And you know what's kind of suspicious to me that people kind of haven't considered? Think about this. Think about how many enemies the DNC has. Think about like what it would mean to Republicans who essentially have the majority. Think about what it would mean to Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump said, "Lock her up, lock her up." Mm-hmm. So like, think about what it would mean to them if the DNC went down.
But a lot of Republicans aren't touching this.
Ask yourself that. Ask yourself why the supposed one of the number one enemies to the DNC is not touching this when they can vote and have an inquiry like that. They have a majority, and they will probably be the majority of the people on the Judiciary Committee too.
Yeah.
So they, if they're not taking the opportunity to take the DNC down, that should tell you something.
Oh, the point is though, is that what you were getting at, this has absolutely no impact on any kind of policy. It doesn't help us do anything. All it really does, it will demonize the DNC even further. But I think as if we're talking about the progressive community, the thing that we actually have to do to achieve any kind of progress is that we got to pull more people in, right? We ain't pulling nobody in talking about Seth Rich was murdered by the DNC. Whether it's true or not, we're not pulling nobody else in. The people that believe it are the people that believe it. I don't think you're going to get much more support on that issue because there's nothing tangible that says that it's
I think that's one point, but I think the other major point is the fact that people have already fallen on the side that they want to fall on.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Whoever supports that idea are already there.
Yeah.
You're just not going to. You're not. Look, the conspiracy theory bracket, because that is what it is. At this point, it is a conspiracy.
And
theory.
we're not.
Nobody can say for sure that
and actually, we're not saying you don't follow it. We're not saying don't follow. We're just saying don't use it as some sort of wedge issue in determining who's worthy and who's not. That's all. Keep following it. I think people should follow it because probably more information is going to come out. But like you said, by kind of pushing aside people that don't think like that, we're not doing ourselves any favors because we got to bring more people in, and we're not going to bring people in on a conspiracy theory, no matter if it is true or not, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories. And we're not using we're not using the word conspiracy theory in a negative way because there are good ones and there are bad ones. There are always good theories and there are always bad theories.
There's conspiracy theories that have loads of evidence, can't be proven.
We already know the DNC is corrupt. We already know we already know they do anything.
Yes, we know that
to win. So. It doesn't necessarily decrease their value within me. The
conspiracy theory kind of bubble is always going to be fringe. It's not going to be popular. Not going to be popular. People like something that they can sink their teeth in, like something that is right there. Mm-hmm. Now, if you got a picture of Wasserman Schultz shooting the guy, or like I said, it's just not going to be proven. So. We shouldn't be the people that are siding with yes, it was the DNC. Please don't use it as a wedge within the same community. We need to pull more people inside of this whole movement. It needs to grow. Actually, it's not anywhere near the size it was when Bernie Sanders was running for president. So we got a lot ground to make up. It's not going to be on Seth Rich. It's not going to be on Seth Rich. We can't make up that ground on Seth Rich. We just can't. Now we're gonna be, and you said we're gonna be paying attention to it. We're paying attention to the DNC lawsuit.
We're paying attention to that too.
Yeah, but it just can't. You just can't use it as a weapon to say, well, you're not progressive. You must be a shill. You're working.
You're for the mainstream media. Mainstream media establishment.
In disguise.
Democratic apologist.
Get out of here. No, you're not a progressive. No, we can't. We can't be doing that. We can't be doing that.
And I'm not gonna And even us saying that, we're not going to write off the people that do that. Because we understand that there's so much frustration and desperation out there. Right. So we understand where people at.
Yeah.
So
we're not writing them off.
Yeah. I'm not gonna even the most extreme people I'm not writing off because I know where they are because I know they
as dirty as
hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is it possible that it could happen? Absolutely.
Because
it's possible.
Again, there's still people who have enormous chip on their shoulder. I mean, I have it too.
Yeah,
I know. So I understand
because we were through the whole thing last year. You know.
Yeah. So I completely understand.
It leaves like a pretty good sized gash. You know.
But we got to keep our heads screwed on straight. You know what I'm saying?
Because if we focus on some stuff that really doesn't improve our conditions, that doesn't improve policy, that doesn't grow this movement, then what are we
Because all
doing?
we're looking for
What are we
is
doing?
we're looking for an emotional vindication.
We're looking for aha.
That's what I'm saying. We're looking for emotional
Yeah.
vindication.
Yeah, but we already through with DNC, right? Like a lot of people are already through with them fools.
See now you're talking about we behaving like a bit of breakup. Is that what you're saying? Like we can't get over it. Like I understand. Like they're not going anywhere. Like Hillary is not going anywhere. Unfortunately, we know that. We know the Democrats and the DNC are not going anywhere. You know the Republicans are not going anywhere either. But since we're progressives and that's kind of the DNC is what our side is focused on, we can treat them like an accident on the side of the road. Have you ever been stuck in traffic for an hour and you wonder what's going on ahead of you, and you look ahead when you get 300 feet away and you see that the accident is not even in the road, and you're mad, you're saying it's to the side. You think I stayed in traffic for this long because y'all wanted to just get rubbernecks and look at something on the side of the road. That's how kind of I feel like people are dealing with the DNC and the Democrats right now. I'm fine. Keep them in your peripheral. Right. But they are an accident, and you need to watch it because they're going to fix this shit and try to get back on the road. But right now we have a road ahead of us, and we have some people driving in the wrong direction coming straight for us. And we can focus on that while focusing on them too. But I'm not going to constantly devote 70 to 80% of my commentary on them and not devote any commentary to Trump's administration or anything else. Not just Trump, because it's not just about Trump. Because I don't want to get tunnel vision, because I know it's not just Trump.
Really, you're saying, we need to exhibit some forward thinking.
We need to, and I know people are going to hate me because of this, but we also need to exhibit some forward thinking in regards to Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz too. Because it's not like if those people didn't exist, we wouldn't have what we have now. It would be somebody else. If Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and the Clinton Foundation or whoever didn't exist, if they never existed, we still would have, because they're not the symbol for corruption. No. They're not the symbol for corruption. They're the result of it.
They're a result.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I know some people get mad because that's what they love to use. They love to use her as a proxy, as she if she wasn't there, everything would be fine with it. Nah.
I don't want to talk about Hillary Clinton.
Exactly. Like I said, she's over here. Keep them right here and make sure. But let's deal with what's actually in front of us.
Yeah, she lost. I got nothing to say about her. Nothing at all. Really, and we were talking about this a few days ago too. My point of view is, and we'll get into this. We're not gonna get into this now. We're about to wrap this up. But my thinking is that the way we go forward, we definitely have to support people whose interests match up with ours. We have to support them. We'd like to see them get into Congress to perhaps do something good for the country. Of course, we need to do that. But I tell you, my main focus is not on politicians. Not on electing politicians at least. My focus right now is on issues. Because there's a lot of, I guess, consensus concerning several issues throughout the country. And it's irrespective of political party. Mm-hmm. No matter what political party on you, there are some issues that people agree on, right? Now the problem is that our Congress makes no movement. There is no movement on these issues. No movement whatsoever, right? So how do we get that to change? Because like I said, I could, at this point, I could really care less who is in office. That's just my take. Right now, I could really care less who is in the Congress, who's a senator, who's a representative. I could really care less. What I want them to do is actually work for us. So that we've got to somehow force them to actually represent us and remove that curtain that they're behind because we don't see a lot of their dealings, right? We don't see the process. You can turn on C-SPAN,
but you just see the result.
Yeah,
you see the result of the process. You see how they vote.
Yeah, you see the vote, but you don't see the backroom dealing. You don't see that. Corporations.
You don't see the lobbyists. You don't see the lobbyists.
No, you don't see who's in their pocket. You don't see the corporations that are writing these bills. You don't see all of that. You don't see the process that they go through to say, well, what bill's going to come through the floor? What deals are we going to make to get you to vote for it? You don't see any of that.
And I kind of see where you're going, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but because I think we talk about this like all the time, and like, what's the point of getting people in office if they're not clean bills?
That's what I'm talking about.
Because what do we talk? What do we talk about all the time? Actually, what do y'all talk about? What do we talk about? We talk about the system. The system or the process. The system is messed up. The process. Okay, if it's the system or the process, it doesn't matter. Like if you put whatever you put in the freezer, it's still going to freeze. Right. So if we don't have clean bills, then we're never ever going to get what we want, no matter who we put in there.
That's why. That's why it to a degree it does not really matter who is in Congress. There is a number of issues that we have consensus on
already. Yeah.
And so, what's holding up this Congress or any other Congress, the Congress before, what's holding them up from actually bringing these issues to the floor on a clean bill and saying, this is what the American people want, let's get it done? What's holding them up? We know what's holding them up. It's money. We know that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we already know
we already figured it out, right? But so how do we combat that? Like I said, we got to remove the curtain. We got to get eyes on the process. Now, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be ironing this out to see if we can come to some kind of plan, some kind of way about doing that. But I think that's
solidifying it legally. Yeah, that's exactly. The important part.
Yeah,
not just like kind of like organizing it as a concept, but kind of solidifying it as a kind of a legal way of doing it.
Exactly. Because as long as they remain unaccountable for what they do, because we can be as mad as we want to. When do we actually force them to be accountable? It's not when election time comes. Because what happened with Hillary? Most of the Bernie people voted for Hillary anyway, right?
Oh,
they hold her accountable, right?
Dog, you just blasphemy, dog.
It happened.
Yep, and I know that's what I'm saying. But it's blasphemy. People don't want to admit that. Bernie people voted for Hillary, and you know what? Hillary people don't want to admit that either. You know what I'm saying? You had some Bernie people vote for you. You still didn't win.
A lot. Most.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah. Because not a lot of Bernie people went to Jill Stein. No. Some probably Bernie people didn't vote, but a lot of Bernie people went to Hillary, and she still lost.
Yeah. But like I said, yeah. So we can't point out elections as a time where we can hold these politicians accountable, because humans are humans, and humans will be like, well, look, I'm gonna make the practical choice. Because
what is accountability? Like you said,
she's better, he's better. That's not accountability.
Because guess what? Because even when we had access to the politicians, like we have access to healthcare, like even when we had access to the politicians at town halls, what happened? Nothing. So like being in front of their face is still not holding them accountable.
Why? Because there's only like one of them there. So like one from there. And is it during session? I mean, are they in session? Are they talking to other people? No.
So you're saying that we might need some independent counsel involved in the construction of legislation.
Like the whole process.
Okay.
The whole process. Like I said, we're gonna discuss that a little bit further, man, because change has got to be made, and it's got to be irrespective of political parties, and it just can't be about what candidates are getting elected, because we should all know that one congressman that has integrity is worth what?
And you know what?
Exactly.
And I think. And this is why, like, Bernie Sanders has become a rock star, and that's actually a bad thing, That's actually a bad thing because people are so desperate to see something that's like remotely different. And Bernie doesn't have it all himself. And we're probably further to the left than he is.
Mm-hmm.
But people were so hungry because things are so shitty that he became a rock star because he's one of the few that is acting as a counter agent to all this nonsense. So it's like the focus becomes on him, and that's actually not fair to him or us.
Right, because he's one.
He's one.
Can't do it without. I mean, can't.
And like I said, and even he ain't as left as I want him to be.
Right. And he did say that too. It's going to take everybody. You know, especially when he said, you know, if he's in the White House, he's going to call on people to say, hey, come get your congressman. You know, that's what he said. Hey, I'm going to use the people to say you better do this. And that's exactly. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying right now. We have to force them to do what we want them to do because I guess the wrong way to think about it is that we work for them. And no, but that's the way it's going. It's like we work for them. Like they count on us to come to the polls, right? It's like we work for them. Hey, be sure you come to the poll and vote for me, huh? Huh? You want some progress, right? Hey, come to the poll. It's the other way around. They work for us. We got to mandate that and we got to push it. We got to force it.
But there you go again, though, man. But what's the lowest common denominator to that? What is the lowest common denominator? That's people, the constituency.
Yeah. You
got to have people willing to do that.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know?
You got to have a public that's going to be willing to do that.
But see, you know, that's why I don't want to get, that's why I don't want to really get, I don't want my focus to go behind a candidate. Not my main focus. I want it to go on issues that we all somehow agree on. Because if we're doing that, there really shouldn't be a reason why people can't come together on those issues. I mean, there shouldn't be an issue.
Well, well, we kind of have to acknowledge that there are kind of multiple points of interest that I guess govern why people make their decisions. It's kind of like when people say, why do white people, these poor white people, vote against their interests? And I think that's incomplete. Actually it's a false question because it kind of suggests that they only have a particular set of interests, and they're not other interests in there competing. And so they're not voting against their interests because there's other interests that are competing with the interest that we say should be a priority. There are other interests in there, and we have to acknowledge that. And that's what I'm talking about when I say the lowest denominator. The lowest common denominator is like people and the conflicting interests they have, and how do we deal with that? So if these issues are issues that have to be taken up by the people and kind of the people have to be responsible for them. How in the world can that happen when there's conflicting interests with these people? That's the thing. It's like, so because we can't keep asking this stupid question, why do they vote against their interest? Because they have other interests that they value and that may supersede.
Well, see, but that goes to a candidate. Like a candidate might be like, you know, a candidate might be bad for a person, but on these hot button issues, whether it be gay marriage, whether it be abortion, Planned Parenthood, you know, all of this, those are button issues, right? For some reason, it doesn't matter if they're going to be bad for them in issues that really impact their actual lives, but things that they require of society, like, no, I don't want no gay marriage. Nobody should get an abortion. This congressman is going to get that done.
Like, people are always looking for, I guess, the power structure to do what they want. Everybody is looking for big government. Everybody's looking for it in a particular way. Everybody's looking for a government to do what they want. It doesn't mean that it's the same across the board, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's another obstacle. I think you're in the going in the right direction.
Right. You're
in the complete right direction. Right. You just open up another can of worms to deal. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And before anybody calls me a hypocrite, okay? Before anybody says that, Because I'm over here talking about there's a lot of issues that we agree on and this and that, right? What if a white nationalist agrees on one of these issues, right?
No,
we should all come together, right?
The fact that they're white nationalists kind of like there's a thing called issue, I guess acting as a cover for another issue. Mm-hmm. And if you there's certain things you can't overcome because I guess the interest that they do have, that's the most important to them, will actually create the supposed issue that you agree on from happening actually. Well, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is that I don't care. I don't care. Like, if somebody that I disagree with on a profound level and is just a horrible human being,
I see. I see what you're saying.
On they're part of this group that agrees with the rest of America on an issue. I'm not saying I work with them specifically. They can support it over there.
Yeah.
like over there, they can support it, and I'm gonna be over here, and I support it over here. Like in that way, are we working together? Maybe. Not directly. They're gonna be over there. All right. Like I said, it does have to be a nationwide effort, especially when we're talking about things that we all agree on.
But you know what?
Go over there. And
but see, I think it's harder for people to see it if it's harder for people to see it when you talk about it like that. But if you talk about it, I guess having I don't know, somebody like Kamala Harris in mind, or Hillary Clinton, or whoever, Nancy Pelosi, just naming some Democrats. If you have them in mind and you talk about it, people understand it.
Right.
Because they will understand that no matter what they say, they have a conflict of interest. So you can talk about how you want, prison reform. You can talk about how you want, fair wages. You can talk about all that. But if you're voting and I guess the money you take conflict with that, you're actually creating those situations you say you want to get rid of. That's an example of how someone's interest overshadows their rhetoric. And so someone's interest actually your political activities and your allegiances actually prevent those things that you say you want from happening. So as soon as I say it like that, it was because it's in regard to a politician. Mm-hmm. But if I say that in regards to somebody who has a different attitude or a different viewpoint or worldview than me, then all of a sudden it's like, well, you can't align with that. And I'm like, well, I can't, because their main viewpoint and their main worldview focus actually is contradictory to whatever issue you're saying we should align on. It's not going to happen because that acts as a firewall to that achieving that in the first place. Whatever that issue is, most likely the rift is because that interest that they have that is more important is not going to create that outcome or actualize the policy or the whatever we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I want this to be excluded from a candidate conversation. That's exactly why. Because look, think about Congress, right? No matter who you speak to, if they're Republican, if they're Democrat, if they don't side with either of them, whoever you speak to, right? If you ask them, do you think Congress is doing a good job? What do you think they're gonna say?
They're gonna say no. It's like 17, 16% right now.
Exactly. So, if Congress ain't doing a good job, what do you say we make them? And not just not on issues that we disagree on, but issues that we do agree on. How about that? Oh well. Anyway, like I said, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late.
Yeah, I didn't even know we'd go this long.
Yeah, I know.
But like I said, we're gonna do this every Tuesday, every Thursday night. This time we didn't have the caller feature already in the stream. I mean, part of the broadcast. We hope to have that done on Tuesday so that we can take some calls. See how people are feeling, what we're talking about on issues or whatever. Mm-hmm. Have a comment to make, and just take it from there.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us for our first official live show stream. We did do a live stream for the election, and we did some live streaming for the
how many hours?
10 hours. We did some live streaming for the Democratic National Convention, but we never have done an official show. So we,
and it was rocky.
It
was mad rocky.
Yeah, I know. And so we want to, thank y'all.
Iron out some of them kinks.
Thank y'all for joining us on this rocky road, and
and still being with us.
And enduring the bumps with us, and taking some of the bruises with us.
The mic problems, the feed problems, cutting in and out. We had to stop this at least once.
Yeah.
Come back.